Hi guys, good morning and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm just going to be going on a walk through my little neighborhood where my brokerage is, and this is something I really wanted to talk about. Why does stress matter? So stress is good in some ways because it's a motivating factor and can cause us to work more proactively to better our circumstances, but also a lot of times stress can actually prohibit us. There are actually great things about stress and obviously negative things as well. So with that being said, stress can not only crush your progress towards your goals, it can absolutely destroy your physical health as well. It actually has been found to link to cancer, lung disease, diabetes, high cortisol levels, which affects your blood pressure, heart disease, depression, and anxiety. And the last two, depression and anxiety, I think we already knew that about having a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of times it does come from our work or whether we're trying to strive for progress in a specific goal that we have. And with that being said, none of that is bad. It's not negative whatsoever, but it's really important to realize that these effects of stress can actually drastically affect not only our mental health, but our physical health. So if we want to sustain what we're doing long term, it's really important that we find ways and methods to not get rid of the stress, because that's impossible, but to actually find ways to create sustainability within our workflow. And that brings me to the 4 best ways to manage stress. So exercise and eating well. Working out is one of the best ways that you can relax your mind and your body. Now, these last couple things is to slow down and take a break. Know when you need to walk away for a second and do something else to get your mind off what you're doing to come back fresh. Also, make time for your hobbies. For me, I love walking at the beach, and luckily I work close to it, so that's something I'm able to do, but also working out and spending quality time with my family is something that brings me a lot of joy. And one thing that I have incorporated is deep breathing exercises, which have actually really physically made me feel less stressful, and I don't feel as much adrenaline going through my body all the time. And also, we really want to avoid exhaustion. So burnout is actually a state of an emotional, physical exhaustion that is brought upon by long periods of constant, unrelenting stress. So if you have a high stress job, hence why you might be feeling this way. It's actually characterized by a set of symptoms that pretty much go hand in hand with being quick to anger, headaches, sleeplessness, and also it kind of looks and acts like depression. And this is all from a Forbes article, so you can find this information online everywhere. But basically, you don't want to do this. I've done this and been there, and it's something you want to try to avoid. And one really big thing that I know I do to myself all the time is I look at people and in the positions that I want to be in, which isn't a bad thing. I think that can be a great thing because you're looking up to people that are in the position you want to be, and those are the people you want to learn from. But comparison is also the greatest thief of joy. And I think a lot of times for myself, and I know others that I've spoken with this about, it's really easy to get wrapped up in what we don't have, but oftentimes we've actually been making a lot of progress. We just might not see it or get it as fast as we want. And although I do think it is great to look at others as an inspiration, I do think that is a surefire way to actually make yourself feel really bad about what you're doing, because there's always going to be people that are doing better than us, that look better than us, that are more successful than us, that have something that we don't have. And I have been there and I have done that, so please take my advice. It is the wisest thing for you to do to give yourself grace and actually realize what this is doing to you. So exhaustion, when you get to that point, it will make you almost self-sabotage, and that is exactly what we don't want to do. So creating a sustainable work-life relationship, I don't think there's such thing as a perfect work-life balance, because nothing in this world is ever balanced just because we don't control everything. If we could control everything, then sure, it could be balanced, but I think the best way to go about this is by creating sustainability. So creating a work schedule that you can give yourself breaks. There's so many studying methods where you are basically time blocking to accomplish things that you want. So you don't want to feel depleted and dejected, and it just doesn't even cause mental exhaustion, it causes physical exhaustion. So get out, go do the things that actually bring you joy. It's good to separate those things, because if you're going to work so hard, then you also deserve to play that hard. And I think that's the best way to honestly find sustainability, because you have to do both. You can't just do one. And I am guilty as charged, because I overwork myself and I don't do enough social things. I don't know, that's just, I guess, my character, but I'm realizing as I get older and as my job becomes more, that that is the best thing to avoid by doing things that you love and hanging out with people that you care about. You need to give yourself grace and practice mindfulness. So I actually, you guys aren't looking at it now, but I did a grounding exercise, which is also paired with a breathing exercise, where I laid on my jacket that I had on the sand, and I put my skin, bare feet on the sand, in the sand, and then my hands as well. And I practiced breathing exercises, and I relate so much to the actual physical burnout, because I felt like my body was just like almost had like pressure on my head, pressure on my shoulders. And this breathing exercise that I did is amazing. It's really just taking very, very deep, long breaths in through my nose, and then slowly, as slow as I can, exhaling through my mouth. And honestly, there's something about slowing down your breathing, because what happens to our cortisol levels is it affects our blood pressure, and it actually affects our adrenal glands as well. So our adrenal glands actually have to do with having an overdose of adrenaline, and our body does this in a reaction to stress to keep us safe. But if you overproduce, it actually will affect your immunity. So what it is intended to do is short term, right? It's heightening all of those things for us to keep us safe. But if we stay in a sustained state of living like this from work or striving towards progress, it actually does the opposite, and it will not allow us to heal as better or as quickly as we should. And that's something that we want to avoid, because like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, that is how people get really, really bad physical diseases from having high stress careers and lifestyles that lead to cancers, lung diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, depression, and anxiety. And the best melody and remedy to fixing a lot of this is getting outside. Get outside, get away from whatever it is, your job, the things that are adding stress to your life, because we really want to be able to create a sustainable lifestyle. That's what I'm realizing this year is about for me. I want to balance all the things that I'm passionate about, like real estate, my YouTube, family. I have a really young sister who I love, and I feel like I don't get to spend enough time with just because I'm an adult and I have a job. But incorporating all of those things creates a more sustainable life, because if I wasn't doing all those things, I would feel even more dissatisfied and more distraught. And it's just so important to add a little bit of everything. Like if you're at a buffet, you got to pick all the things that you like, right? But then you also should probably add things that are healthy for you, so you have a well-balanced diet. And that's exactly what life is. It's a buffet, and what you choose to put on your plate will affect you in a positive or a negative way. You want to have a balanced out plate of food so that it's good and nutritious, but it's also delicious and yummy. And that's exactly how life is, you guys. We can do both. It's not that we can't do both. We just sometimes, I think, forget, and life just gets so caught up in a million other things. But for creating a sustainable foundation, these are things that I highly recommend you look into more, because it's only a matter of time if you create an unsustainable form of work that it's going to catch up to you. And nobody wants that, because you want to sustain this long term and be happy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm so excited to see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.